Hi, I'm Brickroad. Welcome back to Let's Play EarthBound. And it seems like very recently, actually, that we started out a session of Let's Play EarthBound right here in Winters in the lab. Off to Grand Adventure. It wasn't really Grand Adventure. We stuck our nose into a cave and killed a giant mushroom, but it's neither here nor there. Today, we get to go to Stonehenge and get our picture taken in front of historic Stonehenge, apparently. Okay, that's fine. Our photo albums. I mean, is Destel going to be in this picture at all? Because Destel is totally standing behind the photographer at this point. Like, is the photographer going to be in any of these pictures? Because we see the shutter click from some, like, omniscient spot up in the sky. It's okay. That mound of dirt's going to take us down to this cave, which is going to lead us to another cave, which is purple and green. And you can actually come in here in your first trip to Winters when you just have Destel and he's working his way to the lab to get to the Skyrunner. Destel, of course, does not have the eraser, so he can't actually get in here and do anything, but here we are. And I do have to complain a little bit. This is going to be a complaining episode, I'm sorry, of EarthBound. But, and I'm working on my map over here. I don't want to spend too much time in this base if I don't have to. And I want to emphasize before I start complaining about it that it's not something that is localized to just EarthBound. What I'm going to complain about today is something that... a spicy jerky, delicious, is kind of common in a lot of Japanese role-playing games of this era. My favorite RPG on the SNES is Final Fantasy IV, which, of course, we all knew as Final Fantasy II back in the day. And Final Fantasy IV has a very bad habit of... I didn't even see him there. I didn't even see him there. And he got the red swirly on me. That's fine. Just... wait. He's solidified. He's back to normal. And he's going to die anyway. Run away. Let me out, let me out, let me out. Damn it. This is going badly. This is going very badly. I have to run. I can't. I just can't. Ugh. I just couldn't. Okay. This doesn't revive, does it? Healing? I don't think it does. It didn't work. I thought it did revive. I thought I checked this, like, last video. Yeah, a friend who's unconscious. It just doesn't work some of the time. Because it's fun when your abilities don't work, but you still have to spend the mana to use them. That's super fun. Especially when it happens twice in a row. This isn't what I was talking about when I was bringing up Final Fantasy IV. This is like Dragon Quest kind of crap right here. Finally, after 18 tries, we finally got Dotov back up and running. Awesome. No, really, really rare drops is what I want to complain about today, because Final Fantasy IV has a couple of spots in the games where you can get a really, really rare drop from a monster. And the drop rate is ridiculous. It's like 1 out of, I want to say, like 128 or 256. One of those, I'm not sure. Oh, freeze doesn't work on that guy. It's solidified, it doesn't do any damage. That's okay then. I guess I'll have her go after the Starman then. But EarthBound is like that too. EarthBound has places where the quote-unquote fun part of the game is that... wow, these guys are just one-shotting me left and right. That 1 out of every 128 players, let's just say, will get a super powerful weapon that nobody else has access to. You just get super-duper lucky and you get a weapon. And one such weapon exists in this dungeon that we're going into now. And it is the Sword of Kings. It is the only weapon in the game that Dotov can equip. It is a pretty powerful weapon because without it, his attack command is not very good. I'm out of healing already. I'm out of pips. Already. Herg. And I really don't like the concept. Not only do I not like the concept of super rare drops in a single-player RPG like this. Okay, if we're playing World of Warcraft or whatever, I kind of get it. Like, I do. I kind of understand why in an MMORPG, if you're playing World of Warcraft, or is EverQuest even still a thing? Is EverQuest a thing people still do? I don't even know. Burn them with fire. Or whatever the hot MMOs these days. I get it. If you have 20 or 30 people in a dungeon, and you run the same dungeon every Friday night you have like a scheduled thing where you and all your friends go online and run a dungeon, and you're in a situation where how do I fix diamond eyes though? Is it this? I think it's the same healing. I think it's the same. Yeah. So I just got to use all of Kefka's pips on healing because that revive spell didn't work the first 96 times I tried it. Grr! I kind of get it. In the sense of an MMO, it kind of makes sense that the drops are going to be super rare and the drop you're looking for might take a long time to get. Because in an MMO, that's kind of all there is to the game. That power robot's going to blow up on me, isn't he? I think he very is. But in a single-player RPG, like, what is the usefulness of that? What is the value of having that kind of gameplay? I don't get it. It's very popular in Japanese RPGs of this time period, and I don't understand why. Because there's one of two things will happen. I gotta reposition myself in my chair. My back was getting uncomfortable there. Okay, we're fine now. One of two things is going to happen. Number one, you play the game, and the super rare item drops. You get the Sword of Kings off of the Gold Star Man. You get it, and you equip Dotaf, and you think, oh, I got this cool thing. And then maybe later you find out that it was super rare, and that you got really lucky. And you're like, oh, that's really cool that I got this super rare thing. And perhaps your gameplay situation is enriched by knowing that, okay, I got this super rare thing. It made Dotaf really strong. It was a lot of fun for me. Not so much fun for every single other person I know playing the game, because only one out of like 128 of us will actually find it. But hey, for me, it was good. Maybe there's value in... I'm going to just use this Guts capsule. Drink that 7 red. Why not? Maybe there's value in that. Can I walk, please? Thank you. Oh, I need that butterfly. I need that butterfly, but there's all these mooks running around. You, sir, are going to Starstorm. We're going to take these guys down. The other thing that happens, though, is, and this is much more likely in an RPG like EarthBound that is many years old and that the strategy guide was out for... It came with the game. The game came with the strategy guide. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back. There's no way a legitimate player could have played this game. Damn it! I thought I could get away from him! Oh, it's the robot, though. Can I just run so he doesn't explode on me, please? Please? Thank you. No, the game's sold with a strategy guide. There's no way a player played this game without knowing the Sword of Kings exists and without knowing exactly how to get it. If you played EarthBound back in the day, you have the strategy guide, you know that item exists. And if you play it today, you have GameFAQs or Starman.net or whatever, and you still know that the item exists. So I'm going to actually backtrack that a little bit and say every EarthBound player ever knew about this sword. Here's what happens to them. They go in, they want the sword, they know it drops off the Gold Star Men. 101 out of 128 is your odds. What is even the percentage of that? That is less than 1%. That's insane. And so they grind for it. You have to grind for it. It's the only way that you can really be assured that you're going to get it. I'm going to use Life Up Beta here. Destal probably needs a little bit more. And Kefka has twice as much as anybody, so we'll just go ahead and max him out. And it takes a long time to grind it up. I've actually ground up the Sword of Kings once. Probably the second or third time I played the game. He teleported into my party. That was the definition of not fair. Getting salty. I've only been recording for, what, 11 minutes? 10 minutes, maybe? What you have to do is run back and forth in this area coming up in this dungeon in the Stonehenge base and fight the Gold Star Men over and 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 over until the goddamn thing finally drops. Once you get it, Dotaf's attack power is a lot stronger because that time you teleported inside me, but I anticipated you! I saw you coming, and I was ready. I was ready for your diabolical nature. But you gain so much experience during that farming that, like, the rest of the game is a pushover now. Like, there's no challenge anywhere else in the entire rest of the game. Because now you're 10 levels higher than you need to be because you spent 2 hours or whatever it is farming in the Stonehenge base for the Sword of Kings. And I don't see the value of that style of gameplay either. I just don't get it. Either 1 in 128 players is going to get super lucky, or a player is going to spend an exuberant amount of time to get this item. And either way, where is the fun in it? It's not fun, it's not challenging, it's not interesting to farm up monsters over and over and over and over and over again to get a particular item that you want to drop. There's got to be a better way for players to get the items that they want in the game. Like, there's got to be a common ground. Like, okay, maybe just don't have a treasure chest that has a Sword of Kings in it that every player is going to find. Now it's just in the game, and it's, I don't know, it's just, you're going to go out of your way and get it every time you play the game. I get it, that you want each playthrough to be a little different. I just don't think that the less than 1% chance of the item dropping is the way to do it. And I feel that way about Final Fantasy IV as well. That's why I brought it up. That's why I opened the video by saying my favorite RPG does this thing that I hate that EarthBound does. Because I don't want people who like EarthBound a lot I am picking on the game. I'm going to be honest. I'm picking on the game. I don't want people to think I'm picking on EarthBound alone. It was... Final Fantasy IV does it. Breath of Fire 2 was bad about it. In fact, almost everybody's best weapon in Breath of Fire 2, like half of the casts, their best weapon is an item that... Can I eat this spicy jerky? I got spicy jerky. I'm just going to eat that. Who has it? You have it. Yum. Eat it. Has an item like that where you have to farm for it and just fighting monsters over and over. Final Fantasy IV, damn it, I thought that Starman was going to teleport in, but he didn't. I turned around to try to get the drop on him, and it didn't work for me. That's fine. That's fine, I can freeze him. I'm going to freeze him. Final Fantasy IV, let me explain how Final Fantasy IV, like... In EarthBound, the Sword of Kings is kind of an important item. It's kind of like... There's other King's items that Dodif can get. It's kind of his thing. Is she going to die? She's going to die. She's got 8 hips. I can bring that on back. He's got like a whole set of equipment. It's the only equipment in the game that Dodif can use that gives him stat boosts. It's kind of character building in a way to have a character that doesn't benefit from any items or equipment in the game except these 3 things, and one of them is something you can only get if you have the strategy guide or game facts or whatever and you fight Starman for hours. Final Fantasy IV takes it a step further. Not only do you have this less than 1% chance of winning the piece of equipment you want, there are unique magic spells in Final Fantasy IV. Things that if players knew they existed and had a side quest associated with them, would go out of their way to get them every time they played the game. Kind of like how you every time you play Final Fantasy VII, be honest, every time you play Final Fantasy VII, you do the piano minigame. It's stupid, you hate it, there's no way to intuit how to do it from the game itself. The clues are dumb. No player in the world has ever solved that piano puzzle without looking it up online or looking in the strategy guide or whatever, but you do it. Why do you do it? Because the benefit of doing it is a unique attack for one of your player characters that you can't get any other way, that adds value to the party, makes your party stronger, builds off of a story sequence from earlier in the game in a kind of cool way. So even though it's dumb and people hate it, they don't consider their Final Fantasy VII game complete. They don't consider their 100% benchmark or whatever reached unless they go out of their way and do that stupid piano puzzle. And I can't remember what you get from the piano puzzle. It's either Tifa's limit break or it's her weapon. I'm not one of those 2 things you get from doing the piano puzzle in Nibelheim. I'm not sure which, but you do it. And that's why you do it. If you have something like in Final Fantasy IV, like Rydia's, I've been fighting this robot for what feels like an hour. I have been here since the late 70s fighting this robot. Please die. Kefka is homesick. That's awesome. No wonder I'm fighting this monster. Oh my god. I can't do the rest of this dungeon with Kefka homesick. I can't do the rest of this dungeon with Kefka homesick. I just can't. I gotta... And here I was complaining about Final Fantasy IV. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tough it out for a minute. Guys. According to my map, there are exit mouses in this dungeon later. So what we're going to do is get the last treasure box from the first part of the dungeon, exit mouse out, go back to the lab, and call Mom and not be homesick anymore. I could have swore I've been calling Mom. God, the green swirls on these guys are not bad once you know they're going to teleport to you and you anticipate them. It's like you get a green swirl every time. Anyway, Final Fantasy IV is what I was talking about. Has magic spells for Rydia, the summoner. Unique magic spells that you can't get without going through this less than 1% drop rate on these items. It's ridiculous. I didn't even have the opportunity to move there. The bearer was perched on top of the pile of dirt that leads into the base. I don't even want to know what the bear was doing. I have a pretty good guess. So, I'm sorry, I can't fight my way through the second half of that dungeon plus the boss fight in there with Kefka homesick. We got to call Mom, guys. We got to call her up. Be like, hey, Mom, I miss you, and I miss Gord, and I want to eat some Nick. Let's call her. Did that fix it? That fixed it. Okay, excellent. Let's go.